Fasten your seatbelt, folks, because Sigma is going to announce a stunning, fast, super fast telephoto prime lens that we really haven't seen before, except of one time, but 40 years ago. So this is going to be one of those lenses that where you will talk about for a long time. So I expect a lot of discussions today in the comment section of this video. And before that, just a reminder to first of all take 1 second time to like this video to help in the YouTube algorithm, and obviously also subscribe and hit the notification button to not miss some of the upcoming rumors. Sigma is doing really everything right. I really do like the recent 300-600mm 4.0 lens that will start to ship out 20 days from now. So if you want to pre-order this lens, actually you can use the affiliate links I will put in the description box. This is also a way to support my channel because I get a small commission and you don't pay any cent more. So thanks for that if you're doing it. But today we want to talk about something that is again something very extremely unique. So now I want to kick off with a teaser for the nerds, so a short teaser. If I say Eye of Sauron, what comes to your mind? So let me know in the live chat what you think about. I think a couple of you will know what lens I'm talking about if I say Eye of Sauron, because nearly 40 years ago Canon did announce a lens they only made once, so they never updated it. They made some updated version that were slower, but didn't update the exact same specs, and that lens became famous as Eye of Sauron lens because of the light gathering capability and the extreme bokeh. This lens was the Canon 200mm 1.8 full frame lens for the EF mount, and the great news of today obviously is that it looks like Sigma will exactly redo this lens, or in terms of specs. So a new 200mm 1.8 full frame autofocus lens for the Sigma Leica and Panasonic L mount cameras, and obviously for the Sony E mount system cameras. This rumors comes from one trusted source that always shared correct rumors in the past about Sigma, but I wasn't able yet to double and triple check it with other sources. So keep in mind that in this case we are talking about a rumor that still hasn't been 100% confirmed. Of course, no rumor is ever 100% confirmed, but for now I give it a 75% chance that this lens is indeed coming. Hope that after this video other sources can confirm or deny it, so maybe this is one of the few times where I can be wrong, or the source is wrong for the first time but he was right. Yeah, you understand how this works. But anyway, if you have some more info about this lens, you have a confirmation, some proof that this is indeed going to happen, you can contact me using this email address in this contact box, or also this email address in this contact box, and also chat with me directly through Signal and Telegram. And now let's talk about the fact, because actually 5 years ago on sonyalpha I did publish the news about the patent where Sigma did disclose the design of a couple of different fast telephoto prime lenses. You can see the article here, and I did actually ask my readers which one they would prefer to get, and the top lens was indeed the 200mm 1.8 full frame lens. So those readers that voted 5 years ago for this lens will probably get it. So that's great news. The only thing we learned from the patent, except of the optical design of the elements, is also that the length of the lens is 24 centimeters, which is really exactly the same length of the 500mm 5.6. You can see here a comparison with the 500mm Sigma lens, and then the Sony 85mm lens and the Sony 300mm 2.8 GM. But bear in mind, folks, that this is old patent, because 5 years is a long time, and in the past couple of years Sigma did improve a lot the design of the lenses, which means that they are now designed very compact lenses, like the recent 50mm 1.4 that is really extremely compact compared to Sigma lens that they made in the past. So maybe the 200mm 1.8 will be shorter than we saw on the patent, but this is just a speculation on my side that probably the lens could be different than the one we saw on the patent because of the years that passed and the technological advancement that Sigma made in the past years. The source of this rumor didn't share additional specs like, for example, the length of the lens or the pricing. He did add one info where he wasn't 100% sure, but he said like it sounded like this would be a sports lens and not the art lens. The downside is that art is actually a top tier lens system from Sigma. Sports is really very close. If you know Sigma, sports is really like a tiny bit behind art. I think the good side of the story is more important because sports lenses are more affordable, so this would not be a crazy expensive lens. And so I would happy if this would be a sports lens, 200mm 1.8, but this is not something yet that the source itself was 100% sure and certain about it. So again, if you have a confirmation or any details about this lens, a reminder to contact me and let me know if the source is right or if there are some other specs that we didn't know or are different, okay? I really do think this 200mm 1.8 L and E-mount lens is a super exciting lens. I really thought about it for a couple of days now, and I can think of 3 big reasons, at least from my perspective and from my use, on why this lens is super important. In order of importance, the first reason is the bokeh. This lens is going to have an extreme bokeh. Keep in mind that at 200mm 1.8, if the subject is at a distance of 5 meters, you have a depth of field of 6 centimeters. As you know, the smaller the depth of field, the more bokeh you have. So if you are a bokeh fanatic, bokeh-licious fan, then this is a lens that is going to be likely good for you. The second reason why I think this could be an exciting lens has to do a lot with my private life. So in my private life here in the Alps, I do a lot of hiking, mountain biking, so forth, and I do use the Tamron 28 200mm lens to take images. It's a very compact, lightweight lens, and I realized in time of this years that I'm using a lens that I do take a lot of 200mm images. It's ideal for mountain shots, and of course having a 200mm 1.8 instead of having the slower 5.6 or 6.3, I don't remember, we'll write it down here, of the Tamron, it makes a whole world of difference. Of course, the downside is that I expect the Sigma to be big and heavy compared to the Tamron. Hopefully Sigma will really have pulled off some kind of tricks to make it more compact and lightweight. If that's the case, then I'm definitely on the buyer list for this lens because 1.8 makes a whole difference. And the third reason why this lens could become very popular and unique is because I do think that it can have a great use in sports and also in wildlife photography. So in sports photography, having 1.8, particularly if you're shooting indoor, for example, damn, that's compared to a classic 2.8 prime, telephoto prime, this is nearly 1.5 stops faster than 2.8. So this is very useful in low light conditions or if you simply want to get cleaner images. And at 200 1.8, I think for sports, this could be very useful. For wildlife, I know, for example, bird shooters, they tend to use more like 400, 500, and 800mm focal lengths, then 200mm wouldn't be close enough. But even in that case, I can find some use for this lens because on a camera like the Sony A1 that has 50 megapixel resolution, you can still, for example, crop in 1.5x to 300mm and you would get a 33 megapixel image, which is plenty of resolution in most cases, and you would have a 300mm 1.8 in this case, which means that compared to a Sony 300mm 2.8, you have again 1 point something stop advantage, and still you have a more compact lens, a more lightweight lens, a cheaper lens of course, and a lens that gives you great bokeh at 1.8, which is really different than 2.8. So I have no problem seeing this lens being used with a 1.5x crop. In some cases, even 2.x crop. If you use it on a Sony 1 or a Lumix S1R2, you have no problem to crop in 2 times, getting a 400mm 1.8, something that you don't have in real life. On a Sony 1 would give you a 25 megapixel image, so still enough for in most cases if you think that the Sony A9 III has 24 megapixels, so that's about the same resolution. Of course, it's cropped, so it's not exactly, we're comparing a bit apple and oranges here, but it's possible to use it even for 500mm shots if you crop in. And yeah, so I think some wildlife shooters and many sports photographers are definitely also interested in this lens. So overall, my feeling is that this 200 1.8 could be proven very versatile, could open a kind of style and options that you don't have yet on the current lenses. So this could become an epic lens, so like an iconic lens, something that you will remember for the years to come. But let me know in the comment system, first of all, if you agree with me, or maybe if you don't agree and you give me a reason why maybe I'm mistaken on some parts, or if you have other ideas where this lens can be used. But overall, I'm really happy that we're getting something different, so something that doesn't exist yet in the mirrorless system camera world. So this will be the first 200mm 1.8. There is only something comparable in the old DSLR world with the 200 1.8 from Canon, the 200 2.0 from Canon, and also the Nikon 200mm 2.0. And particularly the Nikon is the only lens is still available at BH Photo, but still sells for $6,000. So if the Sigma 200mm 1.8 is a sports lens, I expect it to be priced under $3,000. That's a speculation, I guess. So keep it in mind. The source didn't share any pricing info yet. I can see a fair chance this lens might be priced at around $2,500. So at that price, even if it's sports and not art, it will be a stunning lens and something that I think will sell quite hot for the Sony E and the Leica L-mount system. Of course, in the Sony E-mount system, you would have that stupid 15 frames per second limitation, continuous autofocusing, but I will keep annoying Sony until they remove that artificial limit that makes no sense and in the long term will penalize them compared to other manufacturers. For example, we have Canon and Nikon having great telephoto zooms and primes that Sony doesn't have yet. They should be happy that Sigma is doing it, and they should give full frame rate to the Sigma lenses. That's my opinion, so Sony, please change your policy on this. But this was a small side note. Okay, this was all I can share as of today about this lens. So I'm 75% certain because this is a trusted source, but I didn't get the double triple confirmation, and it happened in the past years that sometimes trusted sources got wrong info or had some misunderstandings. So keep it in mind, we still can't get too excited, but there's good hope that this lens is becoming real. When it comes to Sigma, keep in mind that also 35 1.22 version is coming also this year. This is something officially shared by the Sigma CEO Yamaki. This is all I can share today. Keep in mind that in the next videos I will share more rumors about the Panasonic L-mount cine camera announcement coming pretty soon, about that new Sony lens. It is very exciting, something very unique. So the Sony E-mount folks will get quite some exciting lenses in the near terms or within 1-2 months. So not only Sigma, but also Sony, hopefully also Tamron down the road will announce their first lens of the year. So pretty of exciting stuff coming to this channel. As you know, you can count on me being the first sharing exclusive rumors and chatter about what's coming next. So again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I think I see you soon, hopefully with a confirmation that this lens is indeed real and some additional info about announcement date, specs and pricing. Okay, see you soon, folks.